If there is any infrastructure project in recent years that has transformed the transportation of goods and people across the entire nation, it is the over 1,000-kilometer China-Laos Railway, which opened at the end of 2021. This route provides landlocked Laos, a country surrounded by mountains and forests, with a new gateway. This time, via the high-speed railway, one can travel directly from Kunming to Vientiane in just a few hours. Kunming here is a relatively well-known city among Vietnamese people. This city is the capital of China's Yunnan province, located on the southern shore of Vientiane Lake, sometimes also called Kunming Lake. The city is also known as the Spring City, meaning the city of youth. It has an average altitude of nearly 2,000 meters above sea, and with a 2,400-year history, it has been an important cultural, economic, and transportation hub of Yunnan. This railway connects Kunming with Vientiane, the capital of Laos. The interesting part of this story is that in just 4 years, this route has transported over 60 million passenger trips, more than 70 million tons of goods, helping reduce transportation costs along the economic corridor by about 40 to 50%, and even spurring the rapid emergence of 40 new industrial parks along the long route. The most interesting thing is that although Vietnam did not invest a single cent in the project, we are benefiting indirectly from it. Laos desperately needs routes to connect the country with its neighbors, as it is the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia. In between are overlapping mountain ranges stretching from north to south, covering over 70% of it. The terrain resembles an inverted bowl, the steep mountains, cliffs, and the mighty Mekong River running along the border but without its own access to the sea. This very geography has kept Laos landlocked for hundreds of years. Without a sea, there are no neat waterports. Narrow roads make rugged terrain makes bridge and road construction very costly. Yet domestic transportation is slow. A country like this wanting to develop seems almost helpless. But this is where geography suddenly reverses things. Laos lies right in the middle of the north-south route, connecting China with Southeast Asia. So, anyone wanting to travel by road from Kunming to Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, or Singapore must pass through Laos. That is why China sees strategic value here. With just one railway crossing Laos, the entire ASEAN region will be connected to southwestern China like a complete body. From a country surrounded by forests, Laos becomes a country at the heart of a new economic corridor. Let's talk a bit about the scale of the Laos China Railway. This railway is 1,035 kilometers long, with 414 kilometers running through Chinese territory. This is the section from the Mohan border gate to Kunming City. Next is the 621-kilometer section in Laos, running from Mohan to the capital Vientiane. And interestingly, over 60% of the route's length in Laos consists of tunnels. Why build so many tunnels and bridges? Because the terrain is too steep and dangerous. Statistics show that there are a total of 75 tunnels of various sizes on Laos, totaling 167 kilometers of tunnels, 167 bridges, and over 62 stations. The entire route is designed for trains traveling at 160 kilometers per hour for passengers and 120 kilometers per hour for freight. To build such a route in a mountainous and complex country like Laos, almost no other country in the world would dare to take it on, except China. China has built over 40,000 kilometers of high-speed railways in just over, mostly through mountains and across rivers, with some terrains even harsher than in Laos. That is why Laos chose Chinese contractors. They have experience, construction speed, and the ability to provide funding, which is extremely important. And most importantly, they have the capability to complete infrastructure that Laos has never even thought of building in its history. So when the first train ran from Bodin to Vientiane, the Lao people likened it to a road leading the country into the era of industrialization. Before this, traveling from north to south Laos took 2 days by road, with poor roads, steep passes, and rigidity. With the railway, this journey now takes only 3 to 4 hours, and is cool, safe, dust-free, and not dangerous. From an isolated country, Laos suddenly has a highway on rails, even in the clouds. The most modern in its history. And in the very first year, economic benefits. But by the 4th year, people realized the economic impact was even greater. China has released the latest statistics. After 4 years of operation, the China-Laos Railway has achieved astonishing yet entirely real accomplishments. How astonishing! It has transported 62.5 million passenger trips, while the first year only reached 600,000 trips per month. It is projected that by 2025, this number will rise to 2.5 million trips per month. That's important to note that Laos, per month during peak periods, is an extremely large figure. Of course, the Chinese side still constitutes the majority of the ratio might be 5 parts Chinese passengers to 1, but even considering just that 1 part alone, over the past 4 years, there have been more than 11 billion trips by Laotian people using this rail. This means the number of trips exceeds the country's total population. That is, Laotian people are also traveling extensively. Laos tourism industry has the opportunity. The real story also lies in the freight transport they use. From 2 cross-border trains per day, it has now increased to 23 trains. Transport capacity has risen from 2,000 tons to 2,800. A total of 16 million tons of cross-border goods have passed through Laos to China's provinces, as well as to ASEAN countries and regions. The range of goods has expanded to 3,800 tons, from Laotian rope, Cambodian rice, Thai fruits, Vietnamese cashews, to electronic components and consumer goods. Never in Laos history has any route experienced such rapid growth. The economic benefits are enormous, especially Laos' reduction in transportation costs. Transport costs from Kunming to Thailand via Laos have decreased by about 50%. Because previously, road transport was required, with 2 to 3 vehicle chains, whereas now container trains run directly through. Laos domestic transport costs have also decreased by up to 40%, solving the long-standing issue of excessively high domestic. Just one railway has opened opportunities for Laos' economy, thanks to deep cost reductions. Laotian agricultural products sold at better prices, and international companies starting to set up. Also thanks to this railway, the government and businesses have planned and built over 40 industrial parks, or logistics zones stretching from Boden to Vientiane. These zones specialize in rubber processing, mineral processing, battery and new material production, biotechnology factories, electromechanical components, or goods distribution centers. A railway over 600 kilometers long within Laos territory, not counting the section running within China, has created an urban industrial corridor along its axis, a rarity in history. From an economy mainly relying on hydropower and agriculture, Laos is beginning to shift towards and has shown the first signs of a logistics economy. Following the benefits in goods and passenger transport and tourism benefits, Laos is transforming into a new destination. Since the route opened, tourism between Kunming, Luang Prabang, Vientiane, and Vientiane has become an extremely attractive product. Rail tourism combos attract, to date, about 650,000 tourists from over 120 countries have used their Kunming-Vientiane international train. Now, tourists from various countries find it much more convenient. For China, this is also a strategic advancement. Previously, goods from Yunnan wanting to reach Southeast Asia had to go via the South China Sea or narrow roads like water. Now, they just need to board a train in Kunming to go directly to Laos and connect to Thailand. In the future, it will extend to Malaysia and then Singapore. This is a route independent of the sea. This is precisely the strategic benefit China has pursued, opening a land and rail route down to ASEAN without needing to rely on maritime routes. The most interesting part of this story is that Vietnam did not participate at all in building the China-Laos Railway, did not invest capital in the project, did not bear financial, yet has become the country benefiting the most indirectly within the ASEAN bloc. The reason is very simple. Laos is a landlocked country. When this railway brings goods closer to the Vietnamese border than ever before, Laos' most convenient gateway to the East Sea is Vietnam. Among them, Vung Ang Port in Ha Tinh holds a particular, as it is only about 500 kilometers by road from Vientiane, and is directly connected by National Highway 8 and National Highway 12 through the This has long been the seaway that Laos relies on the most. And we also offer many incentives to Laos and Vung Ang. When goods are transported from the railway to southern Laos faster and more stably, Vung Ang becomes the natural choice for Laos's exports. In addition, Kua Lo Port in Vientiane also benefits, especially for agricultural products, minerals, and goods from provinces. In central and southern Laos such as Chiang Khouang, Lolakonexay, or Savat, goods travel by rail to transportation hubs in Nang Bien and Vientiane, then proceed to Vietnam via national highways, significantly shortening the time to board. The delivery of goods close to the Vietnamese border by rail makes Vietnam almost automatically become Laos's optimal seaway, the shortest, cheapest, and safest route. Simply put, the China-Laos Railway brings goods closer to Vietnamese territory. And if Vietnam opens its seaports appropriately, that flow will become more natural than ever. Business travelers on the China-Laos route can also easily enter Vietnam from Luang Prabang, Nang Bien, Vientiane. They can conveniently reach Dien Bien or Hanoi, and a China-Laos-Vietnam cross-border tourism circuit is beginning to form. Vietnam also benefits from Laos's growth. The stronger Laos becomes in transportation, and that And tourism, the greater the demand for importing Vietnamese goods. That is why many Vietnamese businesses have opened branches in Luang Prabang, Vientiane, or Savannah. The Kunming-Vientiane route is the starting. Later, when the Vientiane-Bangkok route is completed, connecting Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam will be adjacent to a transcontinental. Thus, it can be seen that 1,035 kilometers of railway, with 645 kilometers already built, has created that. The China-Laos Railway is not just an engineering project, but also helps Laos take steps to integrate with the world. A new transportation artery will rare boost for tourism, trade, investment, and an indirect opportunity for Vietnam. Geography once locked Laos in mountains and forests. By 2021, the railway had opened the lock. Vietnam then helped Laos open the lock with Bang Port. Laos has entered a new stage, where a dependent country for an important regional hub. If geography is destiny, then this railway and Vietnam's seaports supporting Laos are clear evidence that destiny can be changed by placing the right path. And more importantly, having a brother by its side, as Vietnam. Thank you for following this story. If you found it interesting, you can subscribe to the Hidden Ledger channel, turn on notifications, and now, please don't say goodbye. Farewell. Don't hesitate, leave your feedback and comments below.